What's up everybody, my name's Taylor and I'm here on behalf of ILIO and I want to share with you my 5 favorite metal amps using the TH-U plugin. Now this list is not in any order, these are just my go-to amplifiers. I like them all for different reasons and they all have sort of different flavors. And variety is the spice of life. So I have an instance of TH-U loaded up here, and the first amp we're gonna look at is the Puntera 333, which is based off the Bugera 333, which is based off a Peavy XXX. It's a lot of things based off other things, but the Peavy XXX and consequently the Bugera 333 are really great sounding amplifiers, and I think the TH-U plugin does a really great job of capturing these amplifiers' sounds. I'm gonna be using the same cab setup for all of these different amplifiers today, so real quick, I am using the Super Cab. I have a Chop Tones Boogie 2x12 and a Chop Tones Boogie oversized 4x12. They are being blended together. You can see the configuration right here. And in all of these applications, I'm also gonna be using the Tube 9 overdrive, which is based off an Ibanez Tube Screamer, which is probably my favorite all-time boost. So here's the Puntera. And one of the things that is certainly true about this amp model, as well as the real amplifier, is that it has a really wide range when it comes to the mid control. Here, let me crank this thing up and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Which is really cool if you want to use this on solos or something that you just want to peek out of the mix a little bit. You can bump those mids and it does an excellent job at bringing that stuff out. The next we're going to load up here is the Engl Burnsphere, which is based off an Engl Fireball. You can see how I have the amp set and this is what it sounds like. One of the things that I love about this amp is how tight it is, and you can really hear how well it articulates with like low chugs. It also just has this killer snarl, which is synonymous with these Engl amplifiers, and I really enjoy this amp a lot. Moving on, the next amp that we have here is the Mesa Boogie Dual Rectifier. It's a classic for metal, and not only that, but it's awesome that the TH-U plugin has not one, but all 3 channels, as well as raw, vintage, and modern modes for each one. This is channel 3, and this is what it sounds like. Let me show you real quick what vintage mode sounds like. Pretty big difference. I think the TH-U plugin does a really awesome job of recreating that dual rectifier tone. And for me, this is one of those amplifiers that has just so much raw grit and horsepower that you really need to try and tame it. And what I mean by that is the amp on its own has a ton of bass. But for me, I think it sounds so much tighter and more aggressive with a Tube Screamer in front of it. It's a classic, you can't go wrong with it. It's got tons of low end and sort of like growl that other amplifiers don't have. And if I was gonna use this in a setup, I would probably split this off and use 2 different amplifiers, which maybe we'll cover in another video. If that's something you guys wanna see, definitely leave a comment below. But moving on here, the next amp on the list is the Randall X2. Now, for whatever reason, it doesn't seem like it's super common to see Randall amplifiers in amp sim format, and this is an excellent amplifier to do it with. If you're familiar with Dimebag, then you're probably familiar with this amplifier. This is what it sounds like. And last but certainly not least, what would any metal amplifier list be without the classic 5150? This is the Heavy 51 lead channel, and this is one of my all-time favorite tones. This is what it sounds like. You know, I shot this plugin out against the real amplifier, and to be honest, if I was blindfolded, I couldn't tell the difference. TH-U does such an excellent job of recreating the classic block letter 5150 that this might be my go-to 5150 tone. Now, some of you may be asking yourself, Taylor, that sounds great on its own, but what does it sound like in a mix? I'm glad you asked. Let's go check that out. Alright guys, that's going to be it for me. If you were interested in checking out any of the amps listed, there is a 14-day free trial down in the description below. Don't take my word for it. Go down there, check it out, and get your chug on, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.